Hey, bunghole sniffers, it's Bourbon and More Bourbon. I'm your host, Hunter from Tampa Bay, Florida, and today we have a new offering from Michters. This is the 2026 Barrel Strength Sour Mash Whiskey. Before we dive into the glass, um, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. So, Michters is a very, very cool, very popular brand. It's been around a long time, very historical. It has roots back to the late 1700s. Started in Pennsylvania by a man named John Shank. In the 1800s, it ended up getting bought by a guy named Abraham Bomberger. In the 1950s, it was changed ownership again. A guy named Lou Foreman named it after his two sons, Michael and Peter. In the 80s, they went into bankruptcy and closed down, got revitalized in the 1990s, and is now a huge operation. They have three locations, um, one in Fort Nelson, the Fort Nelson Distillery in Louisville, is kind of like the main hub for visitors. They have some micro tours at their urban still house and have a bar upstairs as well as a gift shop downstairs where you can score some really cool bottles, probably the likes or something similar. Um, they have a operations facility in Shively and another location called the farm where they do the bulk of their actual like agricultural growing and stuff like that. And I hear that they're expanding that area, so more in the future from Michters, hopefully. um, this is, like I said, a new release. They have a core lineup where they have a sour mash whiskey. It is a small batch. They also have a toasted sour mash that they have released before. Last year they re-released it, and it was really good, but kind of low proof. So very exciting to see what the barrel strength has in store. They also have rye whiskeys, an American whiskey line, and a bourbon line, as well as 10-year bourbon, 10-year rye, 20-year, 25-year, and the celebration, and more rare, more highly allocated stuff like that. This is not actually a bourbon. The sour mash means that they take part of the mash from the previous fermentation and use it to give it a jump start on the new one. But it is a sour mash whiskey, not sour mash bourbon. The grain formula of this is less than 51% corn, so it can't be a bourbon. So it's not a rye, it's not a bourbon. It's kind of less than a rye, less than a bourbon. It's its own thing. It's an American whiskey. And they have another one that is an American whiskey that's a little different. Um, it could be a bourbon. We don't know any of their mash bills per se, but that one is used charred oak barrels. This is actually new charred oak barrels, like the bourbons have to be. So very cool. They've got a bunch of different categories and bottles and offerings, but very excited that this one came out and I was able to snag one recently. These have not been out very long. They MSRP is about 120 bucks. I'd say secondary somewhere between 150 to 300. I've seen maybe a little bit more online, which you tend to see kind of crazy prices online more. Hopefully this becomes another release that they bring back, but they don't really do these types of releases every year. Sometimes they do it every other year. It might take a few years before they bring it back. They have a toasted barrel strength rye that everyone really loves, but I haven't seen one of those since like 2022 or 2023. So hopefully we don't have to wait 3 years for another one of these. But without further ado, let's see how this tastes. Let's get into the glass. So this has been sitting out for about 10 minutes. I think it's about ready. The actual proof on this is it's 55.8% alcohol or 111.6 proof. And these are single barrels, which is really cool. So you can get one with a different different proof, but they're going to be around the 110 to 113 proof, I think. Um, if you are interested, the batch number 26D0899. So maybe we might be Barrel Brothers if you got the same one as me. On the nose, there's a fair amount of ethanol. Nothing too crazy, but the flavors are really jumping out. There is a good fruitiness to this. Dark red fruits, some kind of burnt sugar characteristic like a caramel or a toffee, maybe a butterscotch. Can't really put my finger to it. Um, some dried fruit like maybe a white raisin or like a dried nectarine. A little bit of fresh fruit too, maybe cherry or grapiness, like a grape, a red grape. Your average like vanilla and brown sugar, spicy notes, but it's got more of a antique candy, almost like a root beer or a cream soda. But let's see if that translates to the palate. Got a good little bite. It's got a slight oily mouthfeel. It's not watery, but it definitely coated all around my mouth. Um, there is like a antique cream soda or like a root beer note, uh, with a little bit of butterscotch, almost like a Harry Potter butter beer. I've had maybe once or twice. Not a big Disney fan, so I can't really say I've had it a whole lot, but that's what it reminds me of from the couple times I've had it, like a butterscotch soda. But there's some cherry. Um, there is a drying aspect, but like a dried fruit, not like an oak tannin or anything like that. There is a good amount of oak, but it is not overly tannic. It's not over oaked. This is still a very sweet pour. So going back into the nose, getting tons of cherry and vanilla, and that's like a little bit more spice and a little bit more oak. It's not a very long finish. I'd say I'd say about a 5 out of 10 on the finish. Um, it's not exactly there and gone, but it's not exactly lingering for minutes. I'd say it lingers maybe 1 to 2 minutes at most. Okay, so now it's gone. So maybe a minute at finish. So a good medium long finish. Um, the Kentucky Hug's gone. So this is not going to burn your palate. This is only 110-ish proof. So this is a good kind of low barrel proof offering that kind of will get you into barrel proof stuff. So it's not super watered down. They are known for having a low entry proof. They water their whiskey down before um, barreling instead of after. So you're not really losing um, anything at the end from them watering it down. Um, the whiskey ages and really picks up all those flavors and it stays there, but it's not killing this. It's not a hazmat pour or anything like that. Another thing Michters does is heat cycling in their warehouses. They move their barrels around throughout the year for different climates to kind of um, create consistency. Excuse me. Some other heavy hitters do that too, like Buffalo Trace, I think Old Forester, but not everyone does heat cycling. So the ones who do it well know what they're doing. Um, Value wise, $120. I think it's really good for that price. I'm not going to tell you to go out and hunt this for any more than that. 150 maybe max. This is very similar to that Each Taylor cured oak we did last week, but it has a little bit more punch to it. Um, Maybe the Taylor was a little darker. I guess we could compare those in another video. Um, go in one more time and then we'll give it a rating, and I'll tell you what other bottles we might compare to this. I'm getting the dried fruit and the oak tannins up front, and then just cherry, brown sugar, cream soda, which turns into like a butterscotch caramel. Um, Probably not whiskey of the year. I do think this is really good. I'm going to give it an 8.1 out of 10. I really like this. I might go get another bottle if I see one for 120. I'm not going to spend any more than that. If this comes back out next year, I'll definitely pay that price again. I think it's really good, and I have brought this to a couple shares, and so far everyone seemed to like this. Comparative whiskeys to this, maybe for cheaper. If you can find the Each Taylor Cured Oak, those are about 80 to 90 MSRP. I'd say they're probably harder to find, but if you do see one, snatch one up. Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, not exactly the same profile, but some of the older ones kind of have like a butterscotchy note. But even some of the newer ones are going to have kind of um, the punch and some of the flavors like the cherry notes or the spice that this gives. Larceny Barrel Proof, kind of same thing. Both Heaven Hill as the Elijah Craig. A little bit different profile. It's a weeder. It's going to have more sweeter notes. That's around the $60 to $80 range too. Other than that, I'd say maybe the James E. Pepper decanter. If you can find those, there's about 60 to 70 bucks. It's kind of like an in-between Elijah Craig and a Booker's. Those would be some great bottles. Maybe the Old Granddad 114 single barrels, if you see that. That's even cheaper, maybe 40, 50 bucks. That'll give you some of the dark flavors and the cherry notes. Really love the notes on this. It does have a little bit of a Rickhouse vibe, which I don't always get on every bourbon, but on Michters products, they're just very good quality, especially the barrel strengths. That kind of funky Rickhouse, oaky, dusty, kind of cobwebby, musty smell. When you go into like an actual Rickhouse and you walk across the old floors and you can smell the barrels just evaporating. Some of that quality is in this glass, and I get that on really good quality bourbons and whiskeys. I guess this is a whiskey, but there's a little bit of funkiness to that. So this might not be for everybody, but hopefully it is for you, and hopefully you can find one. Please stay tuned. We're going to have another episode Wednesday, something really cool. Definitely remember to subscribe and comment below. Tell me what you want to see next.